In this video, we're going to talk about the largest living thing on our planet, the magnificent giant sequoia. We're going to find out how these ancient titans get so massive, where they call home, and some of the really unique challenges they're facing right now. Okay, let's get right into it. Alright, first up, let's really get a handle on their incredible size and, clear up something that a lot of people get mixed up. So, you've probably heard of both giant sequoias and coast redwoods, right? Well, a lot of people mix them up. Here's the key difference you need to remember. Sequoias are the largest trees by sheer volume. We're talking total mass, thanks to those unbelievably wide trunks. Their cousins, the coast redwoods, they're the tallest. So think wide versus tall. And to really hammer this home, look at the General Sherman tree. I mean, this is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, right here. To put this into perspective for you, its trunk is wider than a lot of city streets. It weighs over 2,000 tons. That's more than 10 blue whales. And maybe the most mind-blowing part, it's been standing in this very spot for over 2,000 years. And their looks are just as unique as their size. They've got this reddish-brown bark that's super thick and fibrous. It's actually fire-resistant. The leaves are evergreen, but they're small and sharp and kind of cling to the branches. But here's the wild part. For a tree that's absolutely massive, its cones are tiny. They're only about the size of a chicken egg. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so where in the world can you actually find these giants? Well, as it turns out, they are incredibly picky about where they put down their roots. Believe it or not, giant sequoias grow naturally in only one place on the entire planet. Just one. It's this narrow little strip on the western slopes of California's Sierra Nevada mountains. They need everything to be just right. The right elevation, deep soil that's granite-based, and this very specific climate with dry summers and super snowy winters. Alright, one of the most amazing things about sequoias has got to be their age. We're talking thousands of years old. But how do we actually know that? I mean, how can we be sure how old they really are? Well, it's actually a little more complicated than you might think. It's not as simple as just counting the rings. This is where a cool science called dendrochronology comes into play. So what experts do is they don't just count the rings. They look for patterns. The wide rings from good years and the narrow rings from tough years. And they match those patterns across different trees in the area. This lets them account for weird years where a tree might have made a false ring or even skipped one entirely. It gives them a way more accurate age. And using this precise method, scientists have confirmed that some of these giant sequoias have been standing there for over 3,000 years. Just think about that. They've been watching history unfold for millennia. So, to live that long, they obviously need to be able to reproduce. And you're not going to believe this, but their survival is totally connected to a really surprising and powerful force: fire. Yeah, you heard that right. Giant sequoias have this incredible relationship with fire. They don't just survive it, they actually need it to reproduce. See, when a natural, low-intensity fire rolls through, it does a few things. First, it clears out all the other plants on the forest floor. Then, the heat from the fire dries out those little cones way up in the branches, causing them to pop open and release their seeds. And finally, those seeds fall into a perfect bed of nutrient-rich ash with tons of sunlight. It's the perfect setup for a new generation to sprout. And it's not just fire either. They have a couple of little helpers in the forest. You've got these Douglas squirrels that chew on the cones and help scatter the seeds around. And then there's the longhorn beetle. Its larvae actually burrow into the cones, which helps them dry out and release their seeds too. It's this amazing little partnership. Okay, so we've seen how they live and how they reproduce. Now let's wrap things up. We'll look at some really amazing fun facts, and then talk about the serious challenges these giants are facing today. Alright, here are 5 giant facts for you. 1, their bark is basically fireproof armor. It can be almost a meter thick. 2, their cones can hang out green and sealed for up to 20 years just waiting for a fire. Talk about patient. 3, they're believed to be named in honor of Sequoia, the man who created the Cherokee written language. How cool is that? 4, for a living thing this huge, they don't produce any edible fruit. And 5, while it's definitely not a houseplant, if you have enough space, you can actually grow one from a seed. But here's the problem. We talked about how they evolved with fire, right? Well, the game has changed. Today's wildfires, fueled by climate change, are way hotter and more extreme. They're becoming these megafires that are just too intense for even the sequoia's ancient defenses. And the results have been absolutely devastating. In just the last decade, these super intense fires have killed a shocking percentage of all mature giant sequoias. It's a loss that's completely unprecedented in their entire 200 million year history on this planet. And that leaves us with this really critical question. These giants have survived for millennia, but can we make sure they survive for millennia more? It's a huge question about their future and about our role in protecting them. Alright, that is it for this video, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.